Okay, hello everyone. So welcome to our small site here. What we do today is a techno party, actually a series of techno parties called Solar Summer Festivals. They have, you can take a look, they have a big banner. They do festivals during the summertime here in Plovdiv, also at the seaside, on a remote island in the sea. So it's a pretty intense program for the guys with quite a few great world known artists. Tonight, this is what you see is the setup for Afrojack. So he's gonna be the main act tonight, along with Fede Legrand, own boss, and Laura Van Dam. How things happen? Basically, the promoter books an artist, gets a lineup ready, and then everyone sends in their requirements, so-called riders. And from then on, they decide, okay, this artist is gonna draw 500 or 2,000 or 20,000 people, and from there you start building the site and the whole infrastructure around that figure. You basically have an idea of how much people we're gonna have. Of course, everything is based on calculations. There are certain criteria that you take in consideration, but generally it's the easiest formula you count by for like a dense event like this with freestanding audience is 2.5 people per square meter. So as you see, the three of you are comfortably sitting within the boundaries of 1 square meter. From there on, you decide, the specifics. You're gonna have a VIP platform. You're gonna have the audience coming in from this side, artist backstage, requirements from the artist, and everything that you have to manage to cover, generally, given the circumstances. Like, for example, sometimes you have a travel party of like 50 people. Sometimes you have a DJ with manager. Sometimes you have DJ with crew of 5. So they always differ, and they all have different requirements with lots of infinite things you won't believe. Specific type of shampoo, for example. A certain type of water that they don't sell in this part of the world.
Special Norwegian water.
20 bottles of champagne for one person. Things that you have to kind of like maneuver around in order to stay in budget, for that part of the cost, but fulfill the artist, let's say, requirements. This is like super generally speaking about the hospitality part, along with hotels, ground transportation, cargo transportation if they come with lots of stuff from their side. Stuff like that. It's a super wide and big picture, that spreads beyond the limits of the venue. You have a lot of things to deal with. I understand that most of you are in the event management field,
Yes.
so you probably are going to be dealing with this as well. When it comes to my field, which is technical production and site management, what we do is, first of all, we try to build a site that is safe and secure for everyone. You have to think about the people inside and about the people that are outside trying to come in with free tickets and stuff like that. But also, in case of an emergency. There's a certain show-stop procedures that you have to follow, such as let's say thunderstorms, high winds, riots, fights, fire, of course, explosions. Lots of things that can happen, and then you have to be prepared along with security personnel, stewards, and medical personnel to evacuate everyone safely and be able to manage the crowd in a certain way through the PA, give them instructions, step away from the stage, cut off the music, stuff like that. There are different scenarios require different actions, but in general, what matters the most is the safety of the people. This is what you build everything around, starting with the barriers in front of the stage, which is called Mojo barrier, named after the original, something like Xerox, if you know what I mean. Like the rest of them Mojo-like barriers. The good ones come in crates like this, and they're set up for the security. This is the front line between the stage, backstage, and the audience. So if you've ever been to a concert where you've been all the way up front, you're leaning on that barrier. That barrier, besides stopping the people from getting into the stage, also helps the security to work, gives them a safe perimeter. The barriers they all have a step on the backstage side, so they can pull out people if there's a crowd surfing incident. If someone doesn't feel well, if someone is fainted, the crowd kind of brings them to the front, and security pulls them up over the barrier and takes it out to the medical point. We usually have, of course, depending on the size of the festival, depending on the demographics, type of music, what we are facing, you prepare with emergency services personnel as required. Heavy metal shows require heavier security with stronger guys, try to break out fights and stuff like that. Electronic events require security that deals with people feeling ill due to high drug usage at parties, mixed with alcohol, heat, and everything. Most of these parties are in the summertime, on the beach, or here. Today is gonna be close to 40 degrees as well. So the people don't really feel it because of the adrenaline and the rush they get from the drugs and for the excitement that comes from being at the show and seeing their favorite artist. But at the same time, all the things of the environment, have an impact on them, and at some point, some of them start to feel ill. So that's why you have to have experienced medical team that can give them the right, ask them the right questions. What have you taken? How much you did? When did you take it? How do you feel? Deal with the. Can you step forward a little bit, please? Deal with their condition at the moment and try to stabilize them as much as they can. And of course, usually you have two types of medics or paramedics. Ones are with the ambulance. The other ones are on foot, so they only have a medical point. And even if it's required someone to be taken to the hospital, the medical team with the ambulance, takes them to the hospital, and the other people stay on site in case there is another emergency.
The ratio between the number of ambulances and the public community. The number of people, let's say for 10,000 people, one ambulance, or how is it?
It matters, like we're in the city.
Yeah.
In the city we also rely on support from local hospitals. So you don't really need to have 20 ambulances if you have 20,000 people. But if you have 20,000 people, like we do a festival called Hills of Rock, which is the main stage field is on the stadium right there. Along with that, there's 2 other stages, and you have people all around. It's a pretty big site. So basically, you rely not that much on ratio between visitors against ambulances or medical teams, but rather that you try to get a bigger coverage. So you have let's say 2 teams behind the stage, 1 ambulance, 1 just with a tent. And you have another team with an ambulance on the opposite side in case something in the back happens, and it's closer to get to and easier because the crowd is very packed in the front. And then you cover like another stage or another area with a separate team that can change with the other one. Some place with lower volume, but you have a team there that you can dispatch to any other zone that you needed. So it all depends on the site and how it looks like, how many entrance gates you have, how many access points you have, what the whole setup, the whole layout gives you to work with. After the whole safety matter is covered, and you know that you have planned your site correctly with exits, entrances, parking and stuff like that, come the technical stuff. How big the stage is, what is the stage coverage. You have the so-called sight lines. The sight line is basically a line that the audience can see the performer. If you take a step to the side, you'll notice that at some point you lose the sight of the whole backdrop of the stage, and then you see less and less and less and less the more further out you go. Like for example, today we have a DJ that is all the way up front. So for him, the sight lines are pretty wide open. If it's a very visual show, full band and everything, sight lines are closed because the audience must see more of the backdrop of the stage. So because this gives brings a better experience for the people. So you basically base your layout in front of the stage on these sight lines. Everything out of the sight line, there could be people there, but they're not as packed as in the front. So over there you try to do infrastructure that helps out the experience, the people, and gives them some better feel of the festival. They have some better time. You put the bar there so they can get refreshments, alcohol, stuff like that. Along with the bar, of course, come the basic needs of everyone that you try to comfort as well. You put a couple of toilets over there, so you don't have to take a trip from all the way in front of the stage, 100 meters that way, to get to the toilets and back. So these little things, there is no set formula for everything. You don't really follow a strict checklist, but you try to build the things around the obstacles that you have, whether this be elevation, trees, fences, water, or could be anything, and trying to make it the better for the customers. So next time you have a show, they know, oh, last time was great, we had a good experience, we managed to get enough beer, we managed to get in quick, There was enough toilets, so we didn't have to wait for half an hour in a queue. There was food. There was also chill-out zones because, for example, today, this is the main part of the venue. This is where all the audience is gonna be. You have a VIP stand over there with a better view of the stage. They're elevated. They have a separate bar, separate restroom area. You know, whether they are whether they're guests or they have paid more. You know, you try to separate them from the general audience, so they if they have paid, they know what they have paid for. And then you have this beautiful park over there that you leave for extra activities, sponsor zones, fun zones, food vendors, you know, stuff that brings you revenue as sponsor money, because this is another aspect that you will be facing. Funding not only comes from ticket sales, bar sales, and stuff like that, but also in partnerships with big or small company. Whoever wants to give you money, you take it. So you have sponsors like Jägermeister. They build their own stand there. Finlandia vodka, and they do promo activities. They walk around with flyers. You go get shots there. You have fun with friends. You know, because of a lineup of 4 DJs, you might not like the third one. So you have about an hour that you don't need to stand in front of the stage to music that you don't like. You can go over there, lay on the grass, relax, talk to people, get a few beers, and then come in. Or if you want to wait for your artist to come, which is the third one, in the shade, not listening the first 2, you know, could be.
I have a question, may I?
Yes, absolutely.
How long is the process of setting the, the stage, the cables, the toilets, everything, for example?
Well,
1 month, 2 months, 3 days?
for this setup, we started on Tuesday afternoon. Friday. But this is a small and simple setup. It's only one stage, one VIP platform, 2 bars. It's for about 2,000, 3,000 people. As the days come in, first you start with securing the perimeter. Of course, as good as you can, because sometimes you're not the only person. You have to have free way for other people.
Everybody from the group?
No, from the surrounding area, because we are guests here. These people here, of course, they are the locals. They have the more rights, and you try not to be in fight with them or to have any type of confrontation. So you take when you build the whole layout of the venue and everything, and you know that you might need to have a passageway for the restaurants that are down the road to have their supplies, or not to block their customers, or if you block their customers, to offer them a way around. It's very tricky because first of all, as I mentioned, safety is the main priority. This is considered to be a construction site. Just like any other construction site, you have to follow rules, and you have to think of everyone's safety and nobody gets injured. So people get mad at you if you close off the city square and they have to go around, but they don't understand that it's your responsibility, their safety. So like anything that can happen, any accident that happens on site here goes on you. So today we had a talk with a little kids teacher. She had a group of about 25 people, and they try to walk through the site. We try to explain them you should walk outside. There's a detour that you can safely get to, because over here you have big cases. You have forklifts, you have trucks, you have pallets, you have like everything. Small kids, they're super easy to damage. You don't see them, they're small. Cars go around, vans, trucks, everyone's in a rush. You can hit someone and then you go to court in Bulgaria, and then you have to deal with this thing and try to prove that you're innocent. You're innocent because you try to stop them, but they're the ones that decided to take the shortcut. You know, and you can't force them, of course. So it's a very tricky situation with the site and the location that you're dealing with. You try to avoid having outside people that don't belong in the organization to be here, because everyone signs off to their direct boss or crew boss or supervisor, and it's their responsibility, their safety. So after this is all done, you start to close everything. The further into the days you try to block everything off, because you start to have merchandise, beverages, expensive equipment, computers, consoles, just not only things that could be stolen, but also things that could be easily damaged, and they cost a lot of money. Like, for example, Class A, big show console for lights costs about 40,000 euros.
Do you rent it?
Oh, sir?
You rent the equipment?
We are a supplier of the equipment as well. So we own the equipment. This equipment over there is ours. If something happens to us, it goes on us. So you have you must have proper security company that deals with the entrance gates. You must have
Insurance.
insurance also, but you can also have like access, some kind of access control. There will be badges, bracelets, or whatever that the organizer decides along with the production to have, and they let know the security. Okay, the red wristbands can go in, but the black ones can go backstage. So there's when you give out access to people, access is usually not the same for everyone. There are different categories of and levels of access. Usually they fall into AAA, which is access all around, or all around access, doesn't matter. It's just an abbreviation, AAA. Then you have backstage people. They can go into the dressing rooms of the artist. Then you have tech staff, or staff that can go on stage. And then you have like just regular staff that does the bars. It's not a matter of it's a matter of your duties. Like, for example, bar staff has nothing to do on stage. You know, if they if they need, let's say, for example, to bring a box of ice with 20 beers, of course they let them in, they leave the beers there, and they go back to what they do. Technical stuff has nothing to do in the backstage facilities, where the artists are and the band crew and everything. If there is need someone to go, of course they tell the security, someone from the band or from the crew says, okay, they're with me, we have a meeting or whatever, and the security lets them in. So it's not black and white. There's always like this little gray area that you no one's trying to stop you from doing what you came for, but at the same time you're trying to avoid people being in the wrong place and become crowded, because this makes it hard for the other people to work. Let's say if I have right now 10 people on stage that have nothing to do, they're in the way. And so the two guys that have something to do, you know, they have to, can I move? Can you move? Can you move? And this is the main idea of levels of access. Of course, it's more complex than that, because when you turn the things into onto the financial side, because there's always a financial side, not everyone gets the same treatment. Security guards, for example, they're usually big, muscly guys that buy a lot of food. You let them into the catering, they demolish everything. Band, crew, artists, they come in, there's no food left for them. Then you have to replace it, and then you have to pay for it, because the catering company, your supplier, has been given the riders of the band, and they know, okay, I have band A that comes with 25 people. They need this. I have 3 vegetarians, 1 vegan, then the rest want pasta and the burgers and whatever they want. Then you have another band that comes with 14 people, so that makes it 40 people. Then you have a third band with another 10 people, that goes up to 50. So you base your calculations, you prepare the food and everything, and the budget to the client, to you, for 50 people. But then you end up making food for 120 people, and that's not going to be off that budget. You know, they're going to tell you, listen, you know, you told me 50, I told you this much, and now you have 120, you have to pay for it. But that goes into another expense, you know, the whole budget for the event, and these are things that can turn into very expensive costs if you let everyone go to the catering, for example. It's just little things that you find your way around. Depends on what you do in terms of cutting costs or making costs more efficient and getting more for your money, so you don't end up overspending what you need. Probably the last part we can talk about. This is the technical side. Technical side includes stage setups, additional video walls, additional sound lines. You can have like a big site that the main PA cannot cover. For example, you have like 200 meters deep side. You need a separate delay lines. Everything is calculated. The sound travels at certain speeds. So the sound engineers make calculations, what sound coverage they have until then, and then from there on, how much more they can cover. You can require delay lines, or you can require outfill lines to extend the angle of coverage as well, because this also could be an option. Like if you have seen Tomorrowland. It's a big, probably the biggest techno festival. That also turns people away from your show. Oh, we were there, we couldn't hear anything. We're not gonna go next time. So you work your way around what you have to deal with. People, big artist names, they usually have, they work with their own designers. So you, just like you get a rider from for the hospitality part, which is all the needs of the crew artists in terms of hotel, grounds transportation, backstage requirements, stuff like that. Then you get a technical rider style. Some bands, like we recently did a show for Pantera. Last year we did a show for Slipknot. They have a special team of security people. They have to approve everything because it's let's say high risk audience. There could be fights, there could be riots, there could be anything. Like if you ever been to a high volume heavy metal concert like Iron Maiden, Metallica, or you know, Slayer, you know, big shows. Over there it gets messy. You don't want to be up front. You know, we're talking about mosh pits of like 2,000, not 2,000, but 300, 400 people all together in a mosh pit. It's things you can't control. You break them up with water guns. You can also stop the music. I mean, the band and the security manager of the band can say that we stop the music, and they tell everyone to cool down. You know, they want to have a nice show with no injuries and nobody hurt, and then they continue. If this happens once or twice more, they can say, okay, we're done, and they leave the stage, and you're left with a huge mess that your security has to deal with, for example. So all these things, you know, you get based on what you're expecting, what type of artist, what type of audience, and in terms of technical stuff, they work with designer teams that they know the whole show what it's going to be. So they sit down with the artist and they go over every detail of the show. We can, you know, for this song, you're going to be here. The lighting designer is going to do this. At the same time, on the video wall, we're going to have that. So everything is timed and scripted. So when the show comes, and no one has to play it by ear. You know, everyone knows their part. Before every show, the artist says, this is going to be the set list for today. They sit down with the manager, and based on God knows what criteria, they sit down and they do a set list that is given out to all the people, and they do their show. Then everyone from their crew knows what to do. Sometimes you get artists that say, just don't put any green lights on the stage and you'll be good. And you're working with your own lighting designer, own video guys, own sound engineers. They sent out, I need 3 microphones, I'm bringing guitars, drums, two bass players and brass section and whatever they're bringing. They send you a drawing called stage plot, where everything goes on the stage, so they feel better, because some artists, let's say, have interaction with their band. You know, for this song we're gonna be playing side by side on the guitars, and the song she's gonna be on the piano and I'm gonna be sitting on a stool. and then the lighting designer knows, okay, I'm going to focus the lights here, there. The sound engineer knows, or for this part, the rest of the band steps off the stage, and you know, stuff like that. This is like just like any theater or any other scripted show. You know, things happen in order. Nothing is just random on stage. You know, people don't rely on random to give out a good show. So they send you what they want their show to look like, and then you try to answer to their requirements with what you can provide.
How long before that do they send typical writers?
Well, there is no, again, there is no set limits. Some people send it before the contract is signed. Some shows can send it in the beginning of the negotiations and then turn it around 180 degrees. Oh, you got the wrong one. This is the new one. But the budget, but this, but that. Sorry, it is what it is. So you have to also maneuver along these things. As a production manager, it's your duty to accommodate the main act and also the supporting acts if you have a festival. You base your technical setup on their preferences, on what they want. You install what you have agreed on as substitutions, because some lights you might not have. You can have like corresponding lights in terms of features, brightness, you know, all the specifications, but from different brands. And they say, okay, I can work with this or I can work with that, no problem. Or you have to give me this. You know, it's a must. Consoles, risers for the stage. Risers are called those additional platforms that go on stage for their presentation, because I want to have my band elevated on steps, left to right, one in the center. It doesn't matter. Again, they go to the set design with the whole picture. One second.
Слагаме готови отгоре.
Да бе, окей, само го пънете по...
Добре, да. И ти после кой придаде тази форма на ония хоризонтал и ония диагонал е там на кишето зад на трибуната. И кога са го ударили? Само да си признаят.
Блъсна ли с трибуната?
Много добре. Не се блъснали. После, свърши си и ги виж.
Трябва да ходим към младежкия клон.
Окей, ако искаш още 2 минути.
Да, разбира се.
Да. So when you do a festival, besides the main act that you base everything on it, you get the other acts that you have to accommodate as well. You can't tell them, oh, you're no one. You know, you do what we give you. Because they're also artists. Even if they're small artists, you have to treat them with respect and try to get them as close as possible to their desired appearance. For that reason, there's lots of tricks that you can do. You can do intermediate backdrops, hide the main act behind that backdrop. You can do rolling risers, move things around as they are mounted. So you save some time, and you know that during sound check times, which is the time for the band to do to run their show, they try out everything, the sound, how they feel on the stage, the lights, the video, everything. This is their time. And then I step off the stage, and I know when they come back, they're gonna get the same. So you don't really unplug everything and throw it in the corner and then set it back up again. You basically make your life easier, their life easier, and then everyone's day easier, because it's a very long and stressful period of time, the show day. Now, not that the days before, you know, shorter or less stressful, but show days are extremely long and stressful. For example, on show day, you start with load-ins early in the morning. It could be 5, 6, 7 a.m. depending on how much equipment comes in. Usually equipment comes in at the very last moment because it travels from another show. And then you have to set it up, and basically the process goes back to front. So you start with the headliner, the earliest. You set up everything for the headliner, and then you go backwards on the rest of your running order. The running order is the list of all the shows that you have for the day. In that running order, there is time slots called changeovers, and this is the time that you have to going from one setup to another. Get rid of what you don't need, put on what you need, plug it in, switch feeds to different consoles and stuff like that. The people can get a few minutes to test their lines, to test that everything is working properly, and then the show starts. In order to avoid too many mixed operations, you start from the headliner, because they are usually the heaviest and require the most time. And then follows the ones before the headliner, then the ones before the warm-up, and then the last one that you do is usually the first one that you do on the show time. So basically, it's like a ramp, like a half pipe, and so the first one is the last one here at the bottom. So once you set them up, they go directly on stage. You don't really have to do anything more. Once they're done, you clear them off, and then the next one slides in. You clear them off, you clear the next one off, and then you get the headliner, and then reveal the whole show. They usually have the most, the best, the biggest, and everything. For the rest, you work with what they have, depending on the size. You go to work for one of the top European festivals, and there is no such thing as a band that requires no attention. Like Linkin Park could be headlining or Foo Fighters, but the warm-up before that is just as heavy, and then the warm-up for the warm-up is just as heavy, and then you end up to some good-known band that is starting the show at 5 o'clock. Led Zeppelin. So you have to work with all these people because they all have egos, they have their requirements and stuff like that. It's things that you have to deal with, so prepare. Artists are very hard to deal with. I really have no interaction with artists, which is the best part of my job. It was like all my friends and like, oh, did you meet these people? No, I avoided them at all costs. No, you meet the tour manager, you meet the production manager, you meet their whole crew, you meet everyone that they brought in with them. But the artist, I don't want to see that person. Like if the rest of the crew is happy, my job is done. They deal with the artist. Sometimes artists are super cool. Like I heard that some people are from the region, from Macedonia. We had Dubioza Collective the other day. They're a super fun band to work with. It's always a pleasure to work with them, hang out with them. But then you get people like Eros Ramazzotti that make his crew. This line is called these things with the yellow covers, they're called Defenders or Yellow Jackets. They're used to run the cables from stage to front of house, which is the area where the whole show is controlled from. So they get the clear visibility of everything, good sound coverage. They can hear. It's where all the engineers work. So, example, person like Eros Ramazzotti, he's so pedantic that they had to have it basically lined up on a string. It was like, oh, this is crooked. I'm like, what do you mean it's crooked? It's straight. It's like, no, look at this one. And it goes like, I was like, does it really matter that much to you? He's like, no, man, but Eros, man, he sees this, he's gonna kill me. So, you know, it's very stressful job. And then when you put in things, I don't want to discourage you, of course, but then you have problems with transport, especially here outside of the EU, which is hard to get. We're at the very bottom. Border crossings, strikes, detours, stuff like that. Everything runs on a super tight schedule. So you get like a 3-hour delay, and then you have to compensate it because all the schedules are calculated based on what you need to do. Everyone says, all right, for this build, I need 2 days, 3 days. You start 3 days before. If you're 6 hours behind, that's almost half a working day. It's usually 12-hour shifts or something ordinary for us. 8 to 8, it's something usual. But if you're 6 hours behind, you have to compensate them because unlike, let's say, if someone's done TV production or film industry work over there, I mean, you only have to deal with shooting days, but they can be prolonged with 2 weeks. It's also a matter of cost, so you lose a lot of money as a producer, your budgets and everything, but it could be extended in time. Oh, these are not the perfect lighting conditions, we'll see you tomorrow, you know. In live events, I mean, you can hold doors open for 20 minutes. People are not going to be happy, which is also like another part of the customer satisfaction. But it's not going to hurt anyone. But you can't have like 4 or 5 hour delay, you know. And when you pick up your providers as event planners and event managers, you know, you have the bigger your organization gets, the more roles would include. So everyone gets their role and works on it. Basically, you follow your budget lines, and things like extra days on the build time cost you money, because this park here is not given to us for free. So if I say I'm gonna come in 2 weeks before that, first you have to pay for the venue, then you have to pay for the fencing, then you have to pay for this, security, stuff like that. So everything that prolongs the whole period of your event, you know, brings in extra costs. So you have to be aware of giving some extra time, you know, to have in spare that you can react if something happens. You want to come in closer so you're not in the sun? No. Mm-hmm. Okay. And make it work best for you. It was a pleasure. I understand you have to go. You're welcome. Have fun in Plovdiv, and hopefully I was of any help. Yes. Okay. It wasn't very structured, of any type. Some thoughts might have been